So I will get untrained lies. We've got someone in the house already. So I will get untrained lies. We've got someone in the house already. So untrained lies. We've got someone in the house. There we go. Done. Yeah, 4 comments, 8 watching. Hello, viewers. Good evening, sovereigns.
Good evening, may we bonjour. Peace and love to one and all.
I'm going to skip to the phone 1 second. Let's just wait for others to drop in, brothers and sisters. YouTube, it's been a while. Hello.
May we. Au revoir.
You see, there'll be 2 indigos here for the moment. Just bear with us while I join in.
Okay. Other background music is available, by the way.
What have you got?
Pretty good old Dire Straits on.
Hey up. What we do here?
Is Matt John coming across?
Yeah, we'll wait for him to. Let me just put the camera off this one. So we've got 1 indigo. There we go. Oh, I see the camera's stuck on you again.
It may be because of the more noise I'm making.
I've just clicked. Yeah.
Yeah, turn my music off. Boy can't enjoy himself. Back down to earth, bump. Back in the room, bump.
Yes, brother. Let me see if I've got any messages come up before joining. Email ukfreedomproject@gmail.com. Let me just see if I can find Matt. See if he wants to come and play. Let me just. Yeah, is he? I found him. He's sending it me now. 1 second, I'll add him. Then we're off to. We'll see who's in the house. What they're saying. We have untrained lies. Chilster Deluxe says troops. Nonna Yamas hi all. Mr. Offensive. Easy Famo. Albert Matthews. Would you like to join, Albert? PM me your email if you want to get on. Chilster Deluxe says it's been too long. It has, Chilster. This camera. Here we go. We've been busy, haven't we, Andy? We've been busy.
Yes, much to do, much to say, much to iron out. All the crinkles that's out there currently that people are bringing forth, the problems and stuff, you know. We don't have all the answers, but we can only endeavour to try and help fellow man and sister and brother.
Just pick up Matt's email, invite him. With a bit of luck, when I do this, it will auto swap cameras when he comes on. Let's get him in. Yes, invite. Right, let's put it back on me for a bit.
Check you out on the switchboard.
I know, yeah, it happened last time, didn't it? It seems to have something's changed.
Oh, hello. Please, could you contact room 11, please? Thank you.
I'm sorry, but the caller you are calling is having a. Please, can you call back? Let me
Leave
see.
message after tone.
He likes what he says, and he says what he likes. Let me just tell. Matt will be looking at his phone because it makes a funny noise and he doesn't know what it is ringing. Hello. Let's see. Should be here in a minute. What's YouTube saying? Well, did we get to? Albert Matthews, Chilster Deluxe, Mr. Offensive, what you got? Middleton, John's in the house, brother John. Hope you're exercising your voice then. Got money for nothing. Oh, they've been listening to Bruce Springsteen, I see. Got money for nothing. First
Money
Friday.
for nothing is Dire Straits, mate, not Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, yeah. Let me just re-invite Matt.
You say re-invite it, stop ringing, he's saying.
So I told you, there we go. And we go again.
Money for
You were
nothing,
all right last time.
Yeah.
Got in straight away, didn't it, last time? It were the ladies that had issues. Yeah, let's put me on again. First Friday I've managed to make, Mr. Offensive. Well done. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Is taking it a change from the public house or from servitude, is it?
Happy Friday Day. It's in the bloody queues around Chip Shop lately. Happy Friday Day for them boys, quidding it in. Yes, hello. Brother Matt.
Good evening.
Hey up, brother.
To see you. Nice to see you all ship shape and Bristol fashion. Huh?
How you doing, boys? All right?
I see you've gone all natural and left the product by the way and just free for all. And here we come. You look, you couldn't hear my voice without touching it. You've had to do it.
I don't know. What you like?
That's a passionate man right there. Look.
It was tied back until I came on air. It was, yeah. Good evening.
My way, au revoir. All good.
Thank you for joining us, Matt. Thank you for joining us, brother.
That's all right. What are we talking about tonight?
Have you seen the title?
No.
There's a clue. There's a clue there, without being facetious.
Removal of Crowley's infrastructure, enter the fall of Babylon.
Hey,
nice.
That's a video. That's a video title, if ever I saw one.
That's great. I like that. So where do we start?
Well, with you.
With me. Oh,
okay. in Matthew, it's over to you.
Okay, right. We'll be quiet then and I'll talk. Okay, I have a question. Are we doing any health and wealth, or is this just about exiting the Babylon?
Relevant. Keep it to the thread of the crowns and the fall of Babylon.
Okay.
Or if you've got something relevant to say it now at the beginning. If it's not, if you want to say something other,
you are the king.
Yeah, say it. Yeah, well, we don't mind.
It is on the lines of sort of exiting Babylon. It's about staying alive to exit Babylon in a sense. It's about raising your vibration. I think I want to talk about that really. Yeah, I'd just like to say, like, you got to raise your vibration up if you really want to survive. There's lots of things changing and happening as we speak, and the system seems to be getting more and more desperate as each day passes. And I don't know if you watched the guy's video with the police pulled him over and were accusing him of speeding, and it wasn't even him. Hang on a minute. Yeah. And your beliefs, no, they don't matter. It doesn't matter what you believe. It's what I believe and what I'm going to force upon your person, and whether you like it or not. And then if you don't comply, then I'm going to taser you or handcuff you or put you in the back of the wagon and carry on regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did they not say, I'm not defending it, but you brought it up. So did they not say anything like there's one or two of us here, we could act as a witness to each other or to the event? Did they try and say that they could corroborate each other by saying they believe they followed that iron horse or vehicle and they hadn't lost sight of it? I believe something to the narrative of, and they was willing to go. Yeah, and I put some comments on there saying, where is your proof of claim? You obviously assume that I'm subject to the 1988 Road Traffic Management Act and blah blah blah. What I put, some assumptions that you can rebut and some issues there with it, but it's a claim, isn't it? It's a proof of claim, so that's what you're looking at.
Yeah,
the claim. That's how it works.
I think he handled it pretty well. He didn't give his name, and I think even as he went to the police station, he still didn't give his name. They got his name off his ID badge for work. So I don't suppose he really committed joinder in any way. If you don't actually admit to being the name, even if they take it off of your identification, if you haven't admitted to that name, surely you can step back from it.
Well, you'd say surely, but we have assumptions and presumptions within the law. So you have them working on assumptions. The Roman civil system of law that's at hand assumes and presumes. So if you don't mention anything in a civil or a criminal matter, and you can end up in hot water. So the system will run on its own. It doesn't need our interaction to confirm. They will book in and assume and go on. So unless you direct and say otherwise, then they're not to know, are they?
That's right. Because silence is acquiescence. So if you don't say anything, they'll just carry on with their assumptions and presumptions. And if you don't stand up in the correct capacity and in the correct jurisdiction, then they're just going to also carry on. Probably at that point, if it was myself in that type of scenario, I would always ask them, are they ordering me or are they requesting me for such things?
Okay.
And it's not a problem because in both instances, I'll be fair with them. But I may not give them the answers they're looking for whilst requesting. But if they order, I would definitely go along with it. But there will be a fee. Simple.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that was missing in the guy's arsenal, really. He was saying the right things, but he didn't say, well, if you're ordering me, then yeah, I will. But here's my fee schedule. I don't work for free, and I'm off to work at the moment. So you're gonna potentially lose me my income. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you wish to work on. Sorry, Dave, go on.
If you just said there order or request. So orders, when you give an order, you get a bill, and if you get given a request, you are allowed to comply or reject it, and also you have the right to remain silent. But if you do so, then you do so at your peril. Go on then. Yeah, that's all I wanted to butt in with. Sorry.
Well, the way I teach it to my offspring, my property, the way that they grow up is that if you go to McDonald's and you request a burger Happy Meal, for instance, there's a chance you may not get one. But if you go in there and you order one, you're definitely going to get one. But there's going to be a bill attached to it. There's going to be some sort of a levy, just and fair compensation.
Yeah.
So if somebody requests you, you can always respectfully decline. However, if they order you, that's not a problem. You can fulfill the order, but there's going to be a certain price for that.
It's such a lovely way of putting it as well, Andy, because this is simple knowledge that just wasn't really it may have been taught in some form of fashion at school, but I don't remember it. And going on the subject of exiting Babylon, it's all about the knowledge, isn't it?
Those imposing themselves are there also for the same reason, and they're there to feed their offspring and pay their bills and satisfy their mortgage arrangements and whatever else. They don't always know the law, but however, if you do, then you're to speak it and put them in their place forthwith and try and sort of stop and save a lot of this pain and anguish and suffering, because to suffer is to allow.
Yeah. Well said, brother. Well said. Can I just pause, gentlemen, brothers? So, in the on the YouTube chat panel, I'd just like to go through the rest of the guys that are here. Then I've got a comment to bring up. It was flagged, and I allowed it. It has got swearing in, and somebody is angry. So we just need to pause a minute, just take stock. So John Middleton, Mr. Offensive, Ricky Smith's joined. We've got 36 watching now, guys. So wow. I just want to say hello to them. White Magician, I think that's a new viewer. Dean Yates. We'll come back to Dean Yates. Yeah, John Middleton, and then Indiglo. So thank you all for joining. Some of you are new, some of you know what you're in for, and the new ones will advise you to get a pen and some paper to make notes and references. If you can, put a message up for us to comment and go on. You've seen the title, so that's what it's going to be themed as. Dean Yates says, I am ignorant as FC UK because I'm not replying to messages. And then he's put David in capitals. So you've used ancient Latin there as well by capitalizing my given name, Dean. So yeah, you've said that you've even posted private post, and I have completely ignored you. So I am not obliged to answer. Neither is Matthew or brother Andy. You know, neither of these two brothers. We're not obliged to do anything right now. We're obliged to be honourable and to act within our realms of, you know, equitable measures. So as much as I get round to everybody, YouTube here now, you've made a comment. It got flagged up because you've sworn. I've allowed it because I'm going to, you know, let you have the chance to air whatever you want to air. I get over 80 messages a day sometimes, and today I've been out doing research for Hydrogen Doctor. I was trustee for 2 hours for Dodgy Doctors on YouTube. Dodgy Doctors will be able to vouch for that when he watches this replay. So I was acting as trustee for a beneficiary of the trust. Then I had to go out and run my own private affairs with regards to research and development in the hydrogen technologies and hydrogendoctor.com in Stoke-on-Trent. That was a 4 hour. So my time, you see, is finite, and I choose where to put my time. Like Andy will and Matthew will and all of our brothers and sisters on YouTube here and in our Facebook family and the actual extended family. So you may feel, I feel the obligation, and I'm having to build 2.coms, manage a Facebook, try and research and develop hydrogen, run my own private affairs, my own biological family. I've just had my 40th birthday. Man's got a lot on. Man is busy, but I'm not arrogant, I'm not big-headed, and I never ignore. I'm just probably overworked, overloaded, and I'm having to prioritize everything. So there will come a time where I can answer everybody's message instantly or within 24 hours. That's what splspro.com will be for, Dean Yates. So I'm sorry, brother. That's all I can say. I don't really have to apologize, but you seem upset and aggravated, and I want to justify you know, what's going on, and give you the chance to hear from my side that it's just immensely busy. Once the pro.com is up, you know, 25 pence a week, I'm your agent. I'm there. I'll be your trustee, whatever you want me to be. So will the team that we deploy and establish. So apologies, and stand by. Within the next 5 days, I think you'll all be a lot happier with what I've got to present, what the team will present, the trustees, and how it's going to roll out. So there's no need for any hate. I won't return any hate, and I really don't need to make excuses, because you're obliged to look after yourself. And yeah, you message and you want a message back. I've been in touch with the NHS complaints manager, Joe Johnson, on behalf of Dodgy Doctors all week. And he's the NHS complaints manager, Dean Yates. And when he doesn't reply to me and he doesn't answer the emails, and I leave a message each day, 2 times in the day, and it's gone on for a week, I know how you feel, because I'm getting treated like that as the agent for Dodgy Doctors by the NHS complaints manager. So yeah, that's it. I've finished, boys. Carry on. I just wanted to explain to everyone that can see. I didn't have to allow that comment, but I did, because it needs to be chatted about. Yeah.
Yeah. Need to realise that everyone has busy lives, and the thing that has been set up and the website and everything, yeah, it takes a lot out of you building websites. It's a lot of
YouTube chats we have, yeah. It's a lot we do.
Yeah.
Try. We don't have to, do we? We don't have to do any of it.
No.
But yeah, cheers, Matt.
Yeah.
Peace and love, one and all. We haven't got finite time for each and all. We can only say thank you for waiting. And we can apologise if we didn't get round to you, but we have had a massive influx of people, and a massive influx of members wanting to join brothers and sisters. And it's been overwhelming for both myself and David, and especially for me being a private man all my time, you know, and David's slightly more used to it than myself because he's been in the limelight that little bit longer, but I'm here to bear witness that, yeah, he's true to his word, and he's spreading himself, you know, a millimetre thick across the board for everybody. You know, it only gets to the elasticity only goes so far before it can poke a little hole through, can't you? You know, and that's it, and then everybody will suffer. So we can only just do so much, can't we, between us? And it's
Good
down
thing.
to us to all join ranks and shoulder to shoulder, and that's how we'll combat and overcome.
Well, I think also having once the workshops are put on the site and it's all rolled out, and we all start bringing each other up to the same level, then there'll be more people to like you guys and to speak to, and the admins to speak to.
Well, it takes a want and a need and a certain application type. You've got to apply yourself, and you've got to step out the box and reach out to the next man and say hello, and and ask, what do you know about this? Look at this, I'm in trouble with, and what do you know about this? Because we're all too proud to let the next man know that maybe our ship is sinking slightly. Maybe we have got a few holes in the boat and we're bailing the water constantly, and we're too proud and got too much ego these days to say that.
Well, if anybody's... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, just put that to the wayside a moment. You know, all your ego and personal feelings about it and your perception, what others may feel about you, that's all irrelevant. And, you know, let's try and get the core basic problems ironed out and solved here, and then we can move on with further things, can't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you ask, could
go on, sorry, Dave.
Could Dean ask that question? Could he ask that question now? Or, you know, if it is important and he really wants to, if I'm the only one that can answer it, or he really wants to know what I would say, he's saying here that it was a simple question. It could have been a yes or no answer. So I'm willing to do that now for you, Dean. I do apologise for the way that my time management is going at the minute, but it is prioritised with web development, plugins, 2.coms, so I cannot be a victim of servitude and a master of my own future. So yeah, just you can put it on now, or you know, I'll sort it out in the next few days.
I think the thing is, once the website's rolled out, and we'll be bringing each other's knowledge up, and once there's more knowledgeable people on there helping, being agents, helping disperse a lot of the system's crap, you know, there will be a lot more time for everybody, really, especially yourself, David, because you won't be trying to do everything. The website will be able to manage some of it, and yeah, it will be a lot better for everybody. After all, you only get out what you put in, and you know, the more we put into this, then the more it benefits everybody else.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, you can send me if you're on Facebook. I've got the icons on. If you're not on Facebook, then I don't know, where did you send it to, Dean? I don't even remember seeing your name. So was it on Facebook? Can I search for you there and find it while these are chatting? And we'll look at that. Yeah, that's not a problem. The website is going to be a domain for all of it to be in one place. Yeah, that's exactly what it will be, and it will be self-autonomous, like governing. It will govern itself. So.
He's just put not in public. He did it in private, or it's a private question.
Yeah, I've got a Dean Yates, I think, on Facebook. So yeah, you can message me. There's lots of them come up, but I don't know if I'm friends with you. So yeah, send me a message or email it. We'll look at it, Dean. We like to help everybody. This phone goes, you know, so many times. Andy gets hit up with the messages and contacts and requests. After his servitude, we do what we can. It's a fine balance.
Yes.
Can only endeavour. So, Matt, what do you know?
What do I know? I know that the little video I shared today in Subs Comon-unity was scary as fuck. Excuse the language. The monster drink. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What's up? What have you found?
So basically, this guy has got a workshop and he's got his bench with his tools on the top, and it's all dirty. And he's got a can of brake fluid cleaner, which is quite harsh stuff. And he's got a can of monster drink. And he basically sprays his top and cleans the top of his workspace, and it hardly sort of cleans it. And then he just spills a little bit of monster drink on top and wipes that off without hardly ever like buffing it. And it cleans the surface completely. Yeah.
Like a mirror.
Really, yeah, really bad. And kids drink this stuff, man. I know. I mean, yeah, each their own. But you know, there comes a time when you shouldn't really drink, like chemicals and shit.
Well, I don't know what it means, but apparently MILFs love it.
What a monster.
I don't know. It says it on the can, MILFs love it. I've seen an advert regarding it. And the symbols and what it all is. And have a look yourselves, you know.
When I was in... go on.
Go on. I'm going to say what the numerals are. It looks like an M, doesn't it? But they're actually numerals. Yeah, go and have a little look anyway.
Yeah.
When I was in Hungary, I took a photo. I put it into. If you look in Sovereign Power Legals and look on the photos bit, I did put a few. There was a shelf and it had monster, bomb, fire, hell, and there was 5 anyway: monster, bomb, fire, and hell, and another one. I was like, look at that! They're all just you know. I made a sentence with what the drinks were called: bomb the monster with fire in hell. And then there was another bit on the end, and I was like, "These are drinks that you can buy in Eastern Europe right now. Isn't that fantastic?" But that's the theme of this chat. You know, the Crown's infrastructure. It's in many ways you have you know, international corporations that have their tentacles in our lives and how we are by the way that they're allowed to advertise. By the way that music content and lyrical content is directly written and put in. We have controlling ways of not necessarily the Crown, but it is the establishment, the infrastructure is among us in every and many way. Ingredients, the Food and Drug Administration, the legal, the indoctrination or educational schooling, that side of it. You know, the history, the drugs that they give you, the medicine, suppressed technology. It's all
let alone what comes out the tap.
Food and drug. I covered that in food and drug, administration. But can I read some comments out? Let's see who's in here. We've got.
Is it any wonder why that you know, they find it easy to poison us and keep us subdued? And yeah, it's crazy. Sorry, David.
In that we have now Life Trying Again's just found that we're on. Jimmy, Carlin, Hebrew 666 monster drink, 10 points to you. Yes, they are the 666 numerals in the Hebrew numerology for 666, and they've made it look like an M. So you've got there the 666 and a M, but it's not an M. It's just And when I was in Sheffield, and I told one of the brothers, they took it out of a shop window.
Really?
So this is how it goes. An Asian guy was told. An Asian guy was told. Actually, it wasn't by me. It was by someone I know, but I don't want to say their name. So yeah, Brother Matthew in Sheffield is what I can say. And he let a Muslim shop owner know in Aberdale Road, Sheffield, that he'd got a Jewish sign and 666. It's not anti-Semitic comments either. Before anybody tries inciting hatred on the Jewish nation, it's just a fact of life that there's a drink with that in it, and that's what they stand for. So the man ripped it out his window. Yeah, that was that. Disney's got some things that you look at them all, like look at Alfa Romeo badge. Yes, Alfa Romeo's got a serpent. I want to have a Google, DuckDuckGo. Yes, search that, and you'll find the symbol with the snake eating half the man sticking out of its mouth. What?
It's hidden everywhere in plain sight, isn't it? All the symbology and all the
Look at the symbols on the side of an ambulance.
Yeah, the snake and the serpent and the staff and the 2 serpents.
It's all there.
Thank you for looking. It was the only way I could get your attention. Dean, we always read the comments out, and we do actually care. We are, you know, trying our very best to, you know, please everybody. And we are aware of the, you know, what expectations and, you know, responsibilities that we have as brothers and brethren, as an extended family. So there is no ego, there's no attitude, there's no big I am. It's just, you know, time management exclusively. And if you want to ask the private question, then I'll load my emails up in a minute, and I'll find email from you, and I'll look at it, and I'll answer it without breaching your data or your trust.
Bonjour.
When are we going to get 4K live streaming? I don't know, Soundwave. When are we?
Don't my skin look good enough?
Like you just step. No, you see, programming. Stop it. but you is worth it though.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, boys. Let's go back to the room. Totally agree, Matthew. Yep. Right. Okay. We've caught up with everything. We've got 40 watching. Thank you for Semitic. It's Semitic. Yes, John Smith. Semitic. Thank you there. Anti-Semitic. And what we will promote and what we're trying to do is offer a universal, non-sectarian remedy. While you're at it, John, putting that back in the context there, we will offer and propose, a universal, non-sectarian remedy for all. That's what we're here having a chat about today.
Absolutely. Regardless of all the rest of what they aspersions are cast onto us by the system, race, religion, creed, colour, sexuality, gender, whatever else, we cast all them aside and we just come one man and one man.
Destroy all the boundaries, destroy all the division. Needs to go.
I don't care what colour you are, I don't care what your sexuality is, and I don't care what day of the week you pray, and I don't care who you pray to. That's your business, and God love you for it. Exactly. And who are we to mock others for it? But in the said given time, we come together and align with the same consciousness, and then we hope we'll create a wave.
Yeah,
and that's what we need to do.
Well, it's the same thing as like once you see it, once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Once you see the truth, you can't hide. Then it's there. You can't put it down.
Every man has his truth. What we try to stick to is the facts. So, and the facts that we've uncovered, and the ones that we've cross-referenced and gone back to, across the laws, case laws, and whatever else, and we always try and work on the facts. For every man speaks his truth. A man might tell you he saw a pig flying over his house yesterday afternoon. That's his truth. And God love him for it. So he might be a mentalist, but still, it's his own truth. God love him. we try and work on the facts, and we try and work on the laws of divine nature. Basically, that's what we invoke. And when you've done no wrong, and they're coming at you with these other laws that they wish to call them, we're just standing them straight. That's all. We're not dodging. We're not trying to dodge bills or get out of paying debts and all this sort of thing. There's no such thing, because you can't do that and be in honour with clean hands. And there's ways and remedies to do this, and there's ways to enact in commerce, and there's ways to enact in the private, and it's that we need to separate and know how to do and when to do it, and accept and know the jurisdiction that you're in whilst you're doing it, and stand up and accept and face our own responsibilities within that society. And I think everything should be for the good.
And in doing so, you shape the society to a different way of thinking and change it from within.
Well, whatever you call a society. Each or of us a different society. I don't know of a society, to be honest with you, other than the building society and the law society. There's many other societies, if you of a Sharia law, they're of their own society, and Sikh people, they're of their own society. It's just how it is. So I wish not to be of a society, rather than just maybe of a generation, or of just a
brotherhood, a clan, a brotherhood,
togetherness.
A clan.
Togetherness, and that's all.
Comon-unity.
And if you're all in the correct capacity, and you've got the right things behind you, then good shall prevail, and that's all we're trying to say. And the open eye shall see, the open ears shall hear. You have to have an open heart, and you have to have an open mind to cognise that what's really going on is complete 180 to what we've been indoctrinated to believe. And it's as simple as that. Though, and the maximum of law is that the deceived shall be deceived. So there's no best in a fall. We can only try and tell them that there's the water. It's up to you if you use this straw and go and drink from it. It's up to you, Yeah.
That's it. Well said.
Can't force and coerce. You have to, people have to see it for themselves, definitely.
Put your hand up. I've been a fool. I've acted the fool. I've been treated as a fool. I didn't know. You know, I was indoctrinated that way.
Many times.
But now I've forgiven myself, and I shall move forth. And now of the age of maturity and majority, whatever you wish to call it, I shall act as the man or woman, if you are a woman, and take on the responsibility. You know, and play it out the way it should be played. And it doesn't take long to put these things to bed. Then, you know, once you know whom you are.
Yeah, we have David, the creditor. We have Jeremita, the debtor. So we have gone and posted the Romilly Stewart Justinian Deception YouTube. You need to go and you don't need to. It would be highly advantageous for you to go and put the Justinian Deception into the YouTube search and go and find Justinian Deception channel. You will find a recent edition from Romilly Stewart with I think there's 8 in there, the remedy, hierarchy, such things as going on about ledgers and the removal of silver. When they removed the silver, they didn't just remove the silver when you could, like 1960 something early on, go in and get the pound note exchanged for sterling silver, a pound in weight. They took that away, and they took away the Latin, didn't they? And they took away the grammar. And now Romilly's come out and actually reinforced what we was saying about the Babylonian, the deception, the language, the law system, the 2-tier law system being a default trustee with public, assumed public driver, citizen, person, ship status, and being subject to that. So we're looking at a law system and an establishment that presumes we are guilty before innocent, and we have to then prove our innocence to stop. And that's how the law is. So we get told that you are innocent until you are proven guilty, but that's only really when it comes to a crime. When it comes to a civil issue, you are the other way around. We are finding, or I am finding, you are up the creek without a paddle unless you can prove you are the king. So, you know, in one law system, the criminal, they do have the proof and the CSI exhibits. That isn't always, you know, Stephen Lawrence's mum, say no more. Now she's a what? Lady Lawrence, because of the boom shanking work that woman and the heartache and just the pure evil that she had to put up with. And she's faced some demons, she has, you see. So you see how it goes, boys, and where we're at. It's all encompassing. It's all dark and evil, and it has us over a barrel. So where we come along and say, just as Romilly Stewart and the Justinian Deception, as Santos Bonacci has said, Steve McRae, Richard Ansar, many and various. I'm not going to go through the list of everybody. John Harris, for me, the first one it's 10 years ago, 2012, something like that, 6 years ago. As well, I watch some more of him, but you know, they tell you, and we've been confused. And what the remedy is, to be fair, is knowing who you are. Know thyself. You are as king. It's the king's court. You know about equity, private, and the privy court, the high court, the chancery. Then you've got the public, the mandate, the statutes, and the contracts, and the misconstrued agreements, and the debt, and the benefits, and the privileges. And we don't want that side. And that's where we say now the removal of the crown's infrastructure is knowing who the up you are. That's it. That's half of it removed, isn't it? You are you're free of the shackles. You haven't done any claims, you haven't corrected anything, but you can express verbally a trust to begin with, you know. And there's a post I want to read later on from in Sovereigns about trust and you know, the property and certain things like that, but it can wait till later. I'll find it first. Yeah.
And breathe.
There's a good question here.
I get passionate.
There's a question here from Suzanne. Is it Dutton? She's put, oh my God, energy drinks. In fact, anything cereal bars, they're all full of chemicals. I have a question as a mum. My kids think I'm crazy when I try to argue anything that they were taught at school.
I know, but the trouble is it can be confusing for the offspring because they're indoctrinated one way and then come home to be educated. So, you know, you either have to wait till they're of a certain age to comprehend what you're saying to them, or home educate them.
Yeah,
I can't say what anybody else should do, but I home educate, in each to their own, whatever they find for their education system, you know. But
it's hard, yeah, like you say, it's hard if they're continually going to the indoctrination camp. and then coming home and listening to your side of the story, and I never believed anything my mum and dad told me. You know, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very hard. Sometimes they just have to see it for themselves, or they have to, you know, maybe plant the seeds and get them to watch other things and try and coax them into seeing it for themselves.
So it's a big wide story of I could speak of it well and varied and quite for a long time. That's why I've just tried to keep it quite short there. But yeah, each way can have massive knock-on knock-on effects, because you can educate your child at home, which we'll say child so everyone knows. But then you'll send them into school and they'll ask the teachers the said questions about what you've taught them, you see, and then it may get them noticed and then set aside and picked up on, and then, you know, the rest of the children within the classroom will pick up on that too, and then they'll all join in the club, and before you know where you're at, you know, we've got a load of bullying going on and segregation and all this type of thing, you know, alienation. That's right, and I've witnessed it. I know. So, and a lot of the time, I mean, I'm not putting down teachers or anything like that, but some of the teachers act bloody well childish, let me tell you, because they're self-given authoritarians, and then when you challenge it, that they don't like it. The toys come out of the pram and they start stamping their feet because they're not used to the challenge.
Yeah.
So, you know, the education needs to be set straight on every level, because we must remember the teachers have only been indoctrinated themselves to teach a certain narrative, a certain curriculum, you know, of repetitiveness.
I mean, all saying that, there are some lovely teachers out there.
Absolutely.
Would like to teach something different, but they get told what to do. You know.
Exactly. They have to do a certain narrative, a certain curriculum.
Yeah.
So, and like I say, it's each to their own what they wish to do with. Some people can't afford to. Some people haven't got the time and that. But personally, I wouldn't strive or thrive for the what do they call it, the career and the money side of it. I'd rather try and spend every minute with my offspring, teaching them all that I can. A bit like
word, isn't it? Professional.
Like a wild animal does. They provide their offspring initially with their own milk and what have you, and then they'll teach them how to go and catch their own dinner, and they'll catch some for them and let them play with it a bit and then eat it, and all this. They nurture them and mother them and do all the correct things until they to go on their own and do it by themselves. Where our property is done for us by somebody else who we don't know, we don't trust, and they're not set up for life once they're finished with them. So, you know, it's quite a long old process for not a lot of outcome for your input, I feel. But that's just my own perception, you know, it's each to their own.
Yeah. Dave, you're awfully quiet.
I'm letting you have a chance to speak. I'm just looking. I've been looking for a post, and my brain's just busy. With regards to children, offspring, property, and them coming home, and you trying to, with that question that you just read out, they think you're going against them. It's because it's peer pressure, isn't it? And it's like the reasons why children must have, or our offspring must have this, and you've got the advertising, the pressure, the brand, the everything like that at school, like the slime outbreak. How many viewers here are property owners and have got offspring, and you have some fruit of your loins? Who has got fruit of loins under, property under the age of 10 or thereabouts, 11 anons, and you'll know about the slime explosion and things that they're doing, and they just copy each other. It's how we are as symbiote, as sentient beings. We like to be a part. We're pack guys, aren't we? We like to not be solitary and be included. And when they come back, and because the parents are viewed, or the allodial title owners of the property, the creators are viewed by the offspring as maybe not a good relationship. It depends how open you are with your child. Like our lass's daughter, is not from this landmass, and I'm viewed as one of her English teachers as well as her guardian. So I get the chance to explain and develop and spend time with her and explain in detail, not what we do, but to the level of which I think she would benefit. And then she's armed with that, so she will never fight with me, because she will look up to me and be respectful and grateful, because that's what teachers are viewed as. But if you are militant and dismissive, and you are not treating you are not affording the correct management of your property and investment in that property, what you get back from it will not benefit you. It will be futile. So we have to look at a great many things when dealing with them, don't we? With how we manage. Everybody's great with children.
Needs. Yeah, exactly. We're to furnish their needs, and we're to choose which ones. However, we can't furnish all of them, because that'll make them spoilt. Is to choose our battles, isn't it, as we say? So
yeah, it's hard. It really is, with the fads and the things and that. But that's what parents are for. Your mum and dad, are for, are to govern you and to make sure that you don't stray from the path, or that you are loved. But a good teacher won't just give you the answers, and a loving parent will be firm but fair. That's what you're saying, aren't you, Andy? Maybe.
I would just like to say, before I forget, that I think the kids will grasp a lot quicker than we did, because they have the information at their fingertips. We didn't have that at school. Computers had only just come out when I was at school. I think the kids are a lot more switched on than we actually give them credit for, and they're not talking on the platforms that we're on. They're not on Facebook anymore. They're not on these other platforms, because they've moved on. They're on Tumblr or WhatsApp or Snapchat or whatever. I think the kids actually, my 9-year-old boy, he knows quite a lot about different things, and yes, I have taught him some of it. But he gets on Google, he starts asking questions, or DuckDuckGo now. They'll get there. They're going to be a lot more empowered than we were, and we're just finding out about some of these tools now. These kids have grown up with these tools. My 9-year-old's better on a tablet than I am, and I've been in IT before. He's like, oh no, you don't do it like that, Dad. They're on it, mate. And they've only got to find a platform like SPL's and have somewhere like to come and actually learn their rights, and that's it. They'll take it and they'll morph it into the next thing. That's
Junior.
What I do.
Now that's an idea, isn't it? Look at that.
I didn't hear what he said. What did you say, Andy?
SPL's Junior.
Yeah. Can we stage
We have a learning academy which is endorsed by the state. So there is one place where you can go to get schooled and not educated, and that is through the chosen ways that we know of. And then half of those that come out of that institution, academy, alumni, don't really get the positions that they're qualified to do, and they've spent all that money and got into debt for. So you'd kind of argue that the politicians at the minute and the ruling structure that allows these students to go in and be indoctrinated at their own expense, or to high expense, to later come out and not be meeting a satisfactory role in which to start recuperating and getting a reward for the time and effort you've put in to get that indoctrination schooling. Like it's not fair. You see, they should be held to account for that, but they're not, are they?
They're built up from the age of 12 to, I think it's 16, is it? Whereby they've got to have this CV, curriculum vitae, to go out into the big workplace. They've got bugger all to put on it. What experience you got, lad? Oh, I don't know. I ain't started nowhere yet. This is my first job interview. Like, oh, okay, next.
What other rules nowadays? You're not allowed to start work till you're like 14, 15, are you? If that.
Yeah, and on the back of go on, and yeah, you say that, Andy, and I had something on the back of it to say. 16,
I do believe to be full-time employment, but I think you can be 14, is it now, to have a paper round?
Wow. I started when I was 11.
It shows.
Man's had a hard paper round, is that what you're saying?
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Lived at the top of the hill.
Depends on the business insurance.
Is that why you wear a cap so I can't see your wrinkles?
You can't see the light reflecting off my head.
Right, I'm interjecting. The governor's back. So now we have university. We have you. You're really going to get some. This guinea pig. Wow, please. It's a bully.
Guinea pig shit.
It's
He's
nothing but
on
a
my
bully.
side, mate. You're saying to me, leave Matt alone. He said, stop being bloody cruel to Matt when nature's already beat you to it.
Don't ever get one of them. Don't get one of them, guys. It will bully you. Look at it. Look at it go. It's nothing to do with it. Right. So on the back of that, we'll get quiet. It'll be quiet now. Marie's just silenced it. You have the universities arguing that they would like to have free speech. And because we're talking about the crown and the controlling structure, you know, how it is and it gets in there, why would you allow free speech to things and subjects that are owned? Because the guys that are at university are not exactly in a sovereign, self-governing capacity, are they? They're there as students. And they're there under the assumptions and presumptions, and they haven't got they're there in the public. So they're there to be dealt with in a public, you know, capacity. Now, you'd argue that the guys at Harvard, Eton, Oxford, are they in the public? They're private, aren't they? And have they got freedom of speech? Because what the lecturers are teaching they want to talk about. Yes, Andy. What the lecturers are teaching them they're to want to talk about Brexit, and they want to talk about current events and talk about the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson's interaction, the fact that, you know, foreign war policy and the border issues with Northern Ireland and X, Y, and Z. And they're getting told no. So they're saying, well, we've got freedom of speech, but it's like Alfie's Law. Yes, Mr. MEP, such and such Wolf will bring in Alfie's Law. Well, this is what we say to Alfie's Law, because we need the men to claim their actual properties and titles and use the correct statuses and halfway get to obtaining remedy, which won't be delivered until thou understands who thy is. You get me, fam? And so, yeah, Alfie's Law, all these things, you know, wow, it's a joke. Help, we got to help them. Someone's got to help them.
Thee, thy, and thou. Oh, art thou.
You know, please take a minute. And nobody got time.
Does that mean I've got to wear a sandwich board around the uni campus? I'm not doing it.
Oh, Lord.
He'll eat all the sandwiches. There won't be any sandwiches left. I'm going to questions. Matt, let's look at some questions.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Swiftly moving on. What's the scores, George Dawes?
I think it's 2-1, actually. To you.
He always wins.
He's a bugger, isn't he? Smoothly does it as well.
I'm on about thee.
Oh.
Not about thee, Sovereign.
Can only apologise for myself.
Wait, I'm moving. End transmission.
Oh, no.
End transmission.
End transmission?
No. I've had enough of the comfy chair. I need to get to the laptop and read something out in a minute. Yeah.
Wow.
Can't sit silly.
Where are we? In your back dressing room?
Who, me?
Yeah, come get your wig and face on and whatnot. You get your wardrobe behind with your mirror and whatnot. Get your clown nose on. Big size 15 boots in the left-hand corner. Look, who's the bloody hell are they?
Get out of my house. Big shoes.
He's starting on you now.
Rin Dave's dressing room, Dawn.
Sovereign. You're going to get some.
Right, back in the room.
Sorry.
Go, Matt.
You're funny, Andy.
You got to make light art, mate, because we live in a depressive bloody society. So if you can make light art of anything, then go do so. Laughter is the medicine in life.
Yes, agree with that.
Food is the medicine, laughter and love. Yes, you are right. Let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. And love and laughter. And Matt, go on. You'd be not finding a comment.
Sorry, I'm slacking. Sack him. There's a lot from Untrained Lies. Okay. I don't know what he's banging on about. All universities. Oh, go on.
Wow. All universities are classed as charities and placed in trusts. So, yes, schools, trustees. Literally. Schools, trustees, universities. That's right. John Smith's on it. People dashed on his toilet. Men, remedy, all transgender control, untrained lies. I've been lied to since I was a star in the sky. Laugh out loud, our big spark in the Curricon exhaust. There's untrained lies. I'll mute untrained lies. You can go on and read some comments, find some others, Matt, and or Andy, I'll put these.
I don't see any comments at all, mate.
Does anyone have any questions? Because there's been quite a bit at the beginning, but there's not much chatter now. Everyone's turned off.
Oh, well, there's 45. We've got more viewers. 5 more have dropped in, but feck off troll. I've sorted the troll out. Yeah, they've gone, James Owen. I've got him sorted. We need our children to have choices and open minds and see all sides of stories so they can make their own choices for the better, rather than controlling them and telling them and shouting at them and not giving them any choice. They think they have choice, but what they're choosing isn't always.
That's right. They're not allowed to aspire. They're not allowed. If they do put their hand up in classroom, they're told to put their hand back down again because they're told what the answer is. They're told what the narrative is. They're not allowed to step outside the imaginary box that everyone's in. You know, there is no box. But everyone's put in one and put the lid on.
That's part of the social conditioning.
Structuring.
Yeah, it's repetition. What they do is make you repeat. They get you to repetition. It's like the army, repetition. Yeah, the bell. What happens at the school? Like the army.
Make you what, mate?
Andy?
Make you what, mate?
What?
Why would you? What's going on?
It's taking what's
happening? What? Say again.
Repeat it up and what? Say what?
What are you on about? Matt, I've missed something. Enlighten us, Matt. Go on. What's he on about?
You were talking about repetition, and he's going, hello.
No, but I don't see any of it. Right, moving on. So rather than being creative, they are forced like the army, and the army rules with repetition. The brain is actually programmed after about 30 of the repetitions that you are given. So as a team leader in a warehouse environment, I knew that if I went up to somebody, an employee, and said 30 times within a week, they would get that message. If I then had to spend 3 weeks with somebody that didn't pick up basic health and safety training, computer, navigation, overall warehouse and operational security, then I knew that the 150 times saying it wasn't sinking in. So you do get some brains that don't pick up after it, but 95% of us will, by watching EastEnders, Coronation Street, blah blah blah, over and over again, Jeremy Kyle. You get that behavior systems put into your head. So in school they do the same with the repetition of the lies and the BS, and then the army, they do the repetition, they get it drilled in to the skull, and then you have a bell in the school. When the bell rings, they get up, they move, they go about, they go to the next. They're commanded with a bell. What do they do in the army? They have drills and bells there, so it's all quite obvious what's going on, and the children are not allowed to be creative at all. And we, when we're adults, then go through a very mundane, repetitive way of living our lives and living a complete nightmare, which is like Groundhog Day. And at the end of the money, there's too much months left. If I'm wrong, correct me. All right there.
Love and condolences to you, Dawn. Everyone's feeling for you.
I am.
The trouble is, I won't let her have my silk purse. That's what the trouble is. I ought to give it a really. She don't want a silk purse.
What you're talking about, Dave, is you're talking about programming the subconscious through repetition. It's exactly how we learn to drive, believe it or not.
Bend over to authority.
Yes, I know. Yeah, you don't. I've mentioned that. In a previous chat, I've said when you learn to drive, you don't train your brain to drive. You train your subconscious to drive. Yeah, you can elaborate on that. Yeah.
They also call it NLP, don't they? So if you say it often enough, you program that in and then can use it. Yeah.
So in our defence, enter the remedy. Keep telling yourself, search Napoleon Hill, think and grow yourself rich. And also, new viewers, this is where your notes are this way. This is where your notes and your pads come in handy. Napoleon Hill, think and grow yourself rich. Alan Watts, any of Alan Watts's, but pick a title that you think is a self-relevant one to you. And have a go with some of them and see how you pick up the I don't know.
It's also the Golden Web, isn't it? By is it Chiron Last? Is it?
Yeah, for etymology and phonetics, you can get that, brother. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's helping. That's where all right. Let me get the Justinian thing. I'm going to post the videos off my history in the chat for others to watch that are in the thread, because they might not be able to find it. We like to help out and. Yeah, Dean, send me that email again. I've checked in the YouTube update, and I've over 98 that are from YouTube, and I don't know which one's you. So if you email ukfreedomproducts@gmail with that question, and it'll drop in now, then I'll answer it as well. But I've no chance of finding that. It's buried well and truly. And I've got over 750 YouTube comments that have not looked at. So they could be in there as well. I apologise.
We have a question from White Magician. Are there any books that you can recommend on the subject of natural law, maritime admiralty law, and combating it?
Books, right. Laws for admirals, admiralty law, maritime law, laws of the sea. For persons, they're for your person. They're commercial, and they're corporations. Their corporation is dealing with your corporation. That's that jurisdiction. We are man of natural divine creation and the laws of. So I don't really know of a book, to be honest, but I just live without doing fraud, wrong, or harm. Causing no loss or injury. So. Quite divine. It sounds quite holy and religious, but it's not. It's just do what's right. If it's not right, then just don't do it. Because people often ask, I've got killer dogs.
Kicking off.
Dogs are barking. Come on. People often ask, I wonder how he sleeps at night. Well, that's going to be his problem. I don't take that conscience to bed, so. Others do, some do, some don't. So it helps if you don't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'd just like to say on the natural law stuff that you should perhaps go and have a little look at Mark Passio's video on natural law, because it's really good. And it does explain quite a lot, even if it is a bit more geared towards the USA. But it's still talking about the system and its entrails. And Mark Passio. Yeah, another amazing guy with lots of
natural law. Yeah, just natural law.
Yeah,
there should be light after dark. What goes up must come down unless it contains helium.
What we've done. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but there are over how many active posts and that did you guys see that I'd promoted from the group? We've got over 31,200 posts in 28 days, and so many 28,000 something comments, and it's really tremendous the amount of interaction and the what would we call it? We'd call it intellectual property that is submitted by the members freely in the private Comon-unity. So what you need to do, if the guy that asked that question, Matt, I would say is that you could come and immerse yourself in the community, of which is really high. It's rich in in the, you know, the area of what you want, but you need to go in a safe and secure vetted area. But books on natural law would be the Bible, yeah, would be equity. So we was given, allegedly, if you are a Christian, be careful now. I am not a Christian, but I will say I am the bondsman of Christ, because that's how this system works, this Roman civil system. So when you look at the law and you look at all of the scriptures, so read as many faiths as you can. And I know that sounds weird, but look at as many religions as you can. Then look at what spiritualism is, not religion, but to be spiritual. Look at the alpha and the omega. Look at the microcosm and the macrocosm. Look at yourself. There is three: the mind, the body, and the soul. Who are you? What are your rights? You have, you know, and all that. So when you go common, and Andy did hit the nail on the head. Persons, citizens, employees, and all of this business is just
occupiers,
for public.
Yeah.
Public statutory mandated codes are for them, and the Road Traffic Management Act of 1988. But for sovereign, independent, self-governing Anglo men, I don't know, something like that, you know, that know they have a person but are not that person. You can sit there, stand there, and go, "This is who I am, David, and you know, of the family or the clan, Jeremita. I have a person, I have a driver. Yes, wait 1 minute, officer, I will get my driver. There is my driver. Here is my driver. No, this is not the vehicle. This is an iron horse. This is private property. This is a mode of conveyance, a pleasure craft." I think you're confused, or you're assuming. What are you basing your opinions on? Natural law. It's how are you? It's kung fu for the mind, isn't it? What you're after. So, video
judo,
watching,
baby. You will
yeah,
use their weight against them.
I see you know your judo well. Get your hands off my penis. Search for that on YouTube. That's also a funny lawful video. It's not rude. There's no willies involved whatsoever. But it is funny. I've posted Justinian deception videos in as well. There you go. That'll do. Whoever asked that question, Matt, go and you can have a look at these.
Yeah. You said you got a load of men here that's submitted all the information. I'd just like to reiterate that none of us have submitted. We've all given free will.
Listen, brother, I'm not word perfect. Me, I've got millions of jobs to do there. So you must all use your own due diligence. And I am not giving out legal advice. Yeah, I am not an expert in all legal matters. I am not a don. I am just a brother who's trying to do something right. So check up on everything, on all your words, all your due diligence with the documents and templates that you may get from splspro.com. Check for errors, check for omissions, check for mistakes, check for revisions. When you do it on splspro.com on Facebook, you should do the same there. Do not take anybody's word or listen and just go off on it, because as you find out, this kind of thing will happen, not because of anybody having any other issue. Then cognitive dissonance after 4 years of this is still very strong for me, and it really, you know, pisses me off. But I've got a good brother there. Look at him, everybody. Look at them cheeks. Look at him. Who won't want someone like that looking after thee? Respect.
Oh, him.
Yeah. Oh, do you think it was on you?
No.
I thought I was talking about you there, Matt. Sorry, brother.
No, he weren't.
Bloody Nora.
They are a bit red.
Deceived into consent. I do like that.
Yeah, that's why I try and speak minimal. Know your spell. Cast your spell wisely. You know, know what you wish for.
I suppose there are instances, you know, there are situations where the system will still try and steamroll you, whatever you say. But like you said,
every instance, not some instances, every instance. Yeah. And this is why you must be correct in what you're saying. Don't try and do great big sentences and make it all look fancy arse and do a 15-page dossier. Break it down to a couple of 4 or 5 meaningful sentences.
Yeah.
Know every single word that you've written so you can understand it and stand under it if you are questioned upon it. Yeah. Because it's in a certain narrative, and with that one meaning, it can't be rebutted. And once you know how to do that, it's quite a powerful tool. Yeah. And if you are there in honour with clean hands, you can't rebut that.
No. Especially if you're polite, honest, and do, you know, just
integrity wins the day.
Mm.
You know, you're not there to dishonour anybody. You're not there to put anybody down, or you know, we're just there as equal. We're equal in the eyes of the Creator, and we're equal in the eyes of the law.
Mm.
And if you know the law, then it stands you in good stead. Ignorance of the law is no defence of the law.
I know about natural law, and I promoted Alan Watts and John Smith. Thank you for your comment, John. I did not know that Alan Watts was a CIA asset. He was an alcoholic, womanizer, drug addict, pushing LSD and the New Agenda psyop. But you know what? John Smith, is that really your name? Are you really called John Smith? Talk about CIA assets and deceit. If your name wasn't John Smith, then I might give you a chance, John Smith. But you know what, John? Alan Watts is a legend. Anybody that watches this video, search Alan Watts. Know from my heart, on my honor, my word is my bond, John Smith. And a good job my name isn't, because it won't stand for much, would it? It's a bit of a common one. Don't listen to that comment. We'll leave it in, and the comment here will it will just dwarf that. Alan Watts is a legend, and anybody that says he isn't, tell me now why he isn't a legend. And if your name's John Smith, we'll ignore you, because you're not really called John Smith. Shh. How dare they? Alan Watts, is that Andy? You watched Alan Watts or listened? Blue, have you listened to Alan Watts? Do you know who he is?
Some of it, some of it, not masses of it.
No, the gospel truth is I've never heard of him.
He does speak so much sense.
Amazing. It's just amazing.
I'll go take a look.
A lovely voice as well.
You can fall asleep. You can actually listen. YouTube, what I do sometimes, get the download, turn the Wi-Fi off when you sleep. Everything must be off and nice and just, but then you're listening to Alan Watts. Yeah, it's not natural. But when you fall asleep, you can listen to the speaker, and it just programs you over the night, and you don't think it will sink in, but it's how you learn a foreign language. If there's certain ways of learning information. My life's that busy, Dean, that yes, I will have to resort to listening to stuff in my sleep as well. Just to subconsciously pick it up. So we are busy. Alan Watts is
talking about before you go to sleep. Do any of you listen to frequency music?
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, no. I have some experience with the 5 to 8. I have experience with the harmonics and cymatics. Is that how you say it? KCY, cymatics. But the encoding of the ancient Masonic temples and things like that was the sacred geometry. And when we look at the sacred geometry, you later find out that that's a frequency vibrational note that they knew cured, or was a love frequency, and it's there thousands of years ago. I know quite a bit being a DJ, but not everything. I am very much into it, Matt.
It's like, I think it's called solfeggio. I probably said that wrong. You got the solfeggio scale, and
solfeggio, yeah.
You've got the different frequencies that relate to the different parts of the body and the different parts of, and I just tend to listen to them before I go to sleep, in my meditations and stuff, and it does help. Amazingly, it just you feel different in the morning, and I do put it down to some of that. It's amazing stuff, especially if you're suffering with some stress, or you've got some real anxiety, and it's something nice to just bliss out to before you fall asleep, and it subconsciously it must just really help and release it all. It always works for me. It's great. Anyway, back to the law stuff.
I know they changed the frequency. The British Board of Music Classification got notice from Germany in the early 30s, I believe it was, and they changed the frequency and the megahertz and the frequency hertz to whatever it was from, and it was the do, re, mi, so, fa, la, ti, do. That's your solfeggio scale, and there was what did they do? They rehashed it, and when they had World War II, the frequency of the music prior to that was altered to allegedly. This is what we call mind control ultra, MK ultra. Search also Tavistock, TAVISTOCK, Tavistock Institution, Agenda 21. Things like this is the way that the crown has its tentacles in you. And yes, Dean, I've got your email as well.
The harmonics have changed from 432 to 440.
That's the one.
There you go, boys.
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't it the German scientists discovered that if they up the frequency of the music, it was like it was just more
causes more
vibrations on the body,
more vibration, not allowing you to rest, like you speak of.
Yeah.
So a lot of the harmonic music is just in 432 hertz.
It's a bit like the wife.
I listen to Pink Floyd and stuff in 432. You know, it doesn't have to be any of your favourite bands. You know, if you can type in 432, if you got the YouTube or whatever you use, you know. So yeah.
Juju or whatever you use. Look at him. Nice one. I didn't even have that. Oh no. My mum's called Julia. We call her Juju. I don't know if she can convert music to 432 though. But,
well, this is it, mate. It's always I can do, mate. You know, so eloquently put that was, brother.
Matthew, it's over to you.
I'm laughing.
In the blue room, you're in a separate studio. It's like the Ant and Dec show, and you're up there with a microphone up in the top room announcing what's coming up after break.
I'm not putting on a voice. No, sorry, I'm not doing it tonight.
I've worked out how to sort the video out without actually touching it. Thank goodness I can put them. Yes.
He's excited.
I can't believe that was such a simple fix. Wow.
Go on.
I can't tell you what that was all about, but I know not to do that again, ever.
Oh, Lord.
I am up in the deck here, but now I'm free again, brother. We're back to camera control as natural as normal.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, brother.
Nicky George has joined us. Untrained Lies. We've got a shill in the group, everybody. We've got in the thread. I keep blocking him out, but let's just bear with him. Dean, I've got your message and I've read your email, and it's related to trust. And I'm not going to breach your data, but if you call, I'll reply to your email. It doesn't matter. But if you go to the website splspro.com, and there's a phone number there, look, and you can ring that. And when I'm not busy, I answer it, and I answer it most of the time. Oh,
that's what I was going to say. Getting back to frequencies, so the Wi-Fi in your house it makes the frequencies in your body oscillate the water.
Oscillate, easy for you to say.
Yeah, no, not really. It makes the water in your body oscillate at a very high speed, and it's not good for you. In the same way that the frequency music has been rated up to 440, and also not letting your body rest either. So I tend to turn the Wi-Fi off at night and let my body have a full night rest without all of that. I don't know if you boys do the same.
No.
There's such things as buy my Wi-Fi. Organite what I got from Lado at the Sovereign Seminar. So that's got, you pick that up, 3 different layers. You can describe that, Matt, if you want.
Yeah, you got some. It's like Organite, and it's got stainless steel in it. It's got magnetite in it, which is the stuff they use.
Has he just passed you that? How you done that?
Oh yeah, it's amazing. You watch this. Hang on, where's he gone? It's disappeared. Here, Dave. I'll throw this one to you, and you can catch it. Look. Ready? Ready? No, he's not playing ball. Oh.
It's turned into rocks. What's happened? It's turned into rocks and crystals from Bosnia. They're from the Bosnian pyramid, what I found. That's from Greece, actually. They're from Bosnia. The pyramid, 2 different crystals from inside the tunnels.
Magic as well.
Yeah, we do.
I can top you all. There you go.
Silk purse again. I told him.
I'm gonna get my pyramid out. Come on.
Don't, because you'll have dodgy doctors will be on with pyramids now. Don't start that. Oh wow. We're trying to keep it. This is about the removal of the crown's infrastructure and the fall of Babylon.
This silk purse keeps me protected from it, young man. I'm only letting you know.
I wonder who gave you those.
Matt, I've just hidden Andy from the broadcast to teach him a lesson. Getting his silk purse out. I didn't realise we had that option.
Wow.
Me and you now.
Excellent. Like, come on,
I can present him to everyone. He's back. Look, he's out of sin bin. That was sin bin for you, lad.
Oh, thank good for that. Yeah.
Oi.
Anyway, moving on. Back in the room.
Sorry, guys. Babylon will fall one way or the other, with or without silk purses. At least we can have a little laugh about it, can't we? Hey, we can have a little laugh.
Take two. Come on then, Matt.
Right.
Untrained Lies, want truth. I will prove all I speak. Join in. Untrained Lies wants to join us on the Hangout, everybody. He wants to email. He wants to just send me an email to the way I've just sent to Dean. And he wants to send me his email, Gmail email, and I'll add the man or woman, brother or sister. There's a demon in the chat, and we like to have fun with them. They want to prove all they speak, and they want truth. So Untrained Lies is a bad name for somebody who wants truth, isn't it? Again, John Smith, perhaps you know him. We won't give him too much time, but before I ban and block, we'll say to Untrained Lies that Dean's managed to email me successfully on this Hangout now. If you send me a Gmail, we'll add you, and you can wear a mask and hide your face, and you can have a chat with us. And if we don't like it, then we'll remove you. You know, if you act out. But if you can have a chance, anyone can join us, can't they, boys?
Yep.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hold no hatred for anybody. Each their own.
Thomas has come on. Thomas Hogg's come on, and because he's heard about the silk purse, and that's what his comment says, Andy. Look what you've done now. Shockwaves through reality.
Yeah. Sorry,
Never mind Babylon. Andy will sort him out with his slingshot and his crystals from his purse. You don't need any claims.
Listen, listen, I can't claim all the fame for my silk purse. All as I've done there is provided the purse. Brother Matt's given me the nuts to put in it. So Matt, explain what's in there if you wish, because people will always want to know what's my silk purse is all about.
Although you struggle to talk about yourself, you have a few issues, as we all do, with your health. And I just happen to be quite spiritual and very into my crystals and vibrations and frequencies. So I gifted you a few crystals when I met you in Birmingham when we come up to the last meetup.
Which you did. Gratefully received.
I don't know if they've actually been doing anything for you, but
I'm a good spirit. I'm all right, apart from a toothache.
Oh, really?
That's about it. Yeah. But that's about it, mate. So what? Is the 5 stones in there, ain't they?
I think so, yeah.
You guys.
No.
Right, come on in, Dave. How are we going to exit Babylon? What's got to go first?
Exit Babylon. Well, we're going to invite Untrained Lies in a minute, and we're going to go for a little test here. We're going to play with fire, literally, and hopefully we will all get on nicely and educated, intelligently, articulately, concisely, and see what we can do. Exit Babylon. You need to know what Babylon is. So when I was little, the Rastafari of 1989 used to walk around with a big tea cozy, you know, with the gold, red and green, the Jamaica, Africa, whatever it was here. And they had BMWs, and they used to talk about Babylon, and they was very friendly. They were very loving. Every black Rastafari that I know and that have known was happy, was friendly. I've never seen a Rasta in a fight ever, to point blank. So I listen to them guys, and I respect them. I see what they have done in media. Here we go. The controlling Crown's infrastructure. Has anybody seen White Chicks? Yes, I think you have. What have they made the Wayans brothers do? Dress up like women. What have they done to the black man of days gone by? They turned a Babylon warrior, soldier of that was going to bring down Babylon from the land of Zion, and they've corrupted the I don't know. I've got to be careful here, but they are Jamaican, Western, Oriental. All of this have been corrupted. There are no taboos anymore. So Babylon is knowing what your enemy is and who your enemy is and what the languages it uses and it speaks and how it interacts with you. So we've exposed the Latin, we've exposed the ancient, dogma, we've exposed not exposed it. We didn't find it, YouTube. What I'm saying is we've helped bring it to the forefront and put it all in a structure so we can say, here's Babylon and here is freedom. Which one would you like? It's like on the Life of Brian, where he's carrying that cross, that slave, and he gets to the bit, and he goes crucifixion, and he goes, no, it's freedom actually. And the man goes, oh, freedom, that's this way. He goes, only joking, crucifixion. And he goes back, and I'm like, oh my days, I see it now. I see what Life of Brian, what they were doing. Talk about Freemasons and they were on it, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, when you look at it all, Babylon, if you believe, look how many have put their faith in the Christian Bible, the New Testament, the Old Testament, and what have we found since? We've found the Dead Sea Scrolls, we've found Sumeria, Arcadia, we've gone back eons in time, we've looked at the Green Emerald Tablets of Thoth, we've looked at Enki, we've even looked at the moon. You know, in Africa, how they tell you about the moon, they tell you, in Africa, they say the moon is an egg. This is why you should speak to others of other skin and not be scared of them, because you find shit out that your own folk don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean that Africa's an egg? Well, I mean, the moon's an egg in African history and mythology. And they're like, well, it was rolled across space. I'm like, shut up, what do you mean it was? Who rolled it across space? This is my friend telling me this, not a book or a video or YouTube. A real live African boy in Burton. And I was like, okay, carry on. And he's like, yeah, they say they rolled the egg of the moon across space, and it was put there. It's in an unnatural position. It's the wrong size. It's the wrong shape. If you look at all the craters that have hit it, they only hit it at a certain depth. It isn't ours. It shouldn't be here. And the invaders, the Anunnaki, the lizards that David Icke goes on about, have been told in the Bible with the Nephilim and the Dogon tribe and so forth. So we've articulated and got references to all of this. And talking about David Icke being a weirdo and that is, I take it back. I publicly take it back about David Icke. I've had, again, another change of heart about him. I'm not sure. I don't know what his motivations. He's making a lot of money. I know that's for sure. He could invest that a lot better. But he says about the reptilians. He says about Elizabeth. He says about the royal family, the monarchy. And he's allowed to sell out tickets in Wembley Stadium and get away with saying that. What? You know, we're in it now. Like Lost. He'd lost where they had to keep pressing that button, or the island had reset. Something like that going off with CERN, I reckon.
Well, also, once you know your vibration as well, and you know how to protect your vibration, you don't let other people come into your vibration and change it. They can't affect
without being disrespectful, my brother, with all the love in the world. So we're in a court case, or there's an officer present, or there's an agent pressurizing you, and you're gonna battle him with vibration, peace and love. You're not. You're gonna get taken down. You're gonna get goods repossessed, taken to market to be sold. You're gonna get fines, forfeitures, and fees. You're gonna get bummed by the system. But to be fair, your vibration and love can go so far, and that's where you've got to recognize there's only so much. Like with the other stuff we've tried, it's only useful in certain areas. What we need is articulation on the deception, the grand deception that's afoot, and we need to know how to stop brothers like baby Alfie and the Evans family losing their blood in public, full view, in a painstaking, embarrassing, just what the hell, you know. We don't need Alfie's law. We need to know who we are and how to command and compel, and you know, fiduciaries and things like that. This is where we're at now. This is the game is changed. The rules have changed. Even the Pope and the Vatican have made not unum sanctum. What was the other one now? There's too much.
Whatever you call it.
Yeah, that one. You know, and what they're doing there and how they're explaining it. It's you know, the ball game's changing big time, and they will ignore you. But when you compel and you stand on it and you push them, then it's all you can do. You know, you've got to go down fighting rather than going down and not knowing how or why you're going down. But when little babies like that go down, then that's when we have to actively start and say something, because I'm ready now. I'm ready for something big, not violent, intellectual, thought out, planned, controlled, and en masse. Yeah, there are too many jobs to be doing, but such things as paying for PCNs, infractions on the Road Traffic Management Act, your gas, electric, municipal services, council tax is small fry when man's blood's being killed in public buildings. You know what I mean? There is levels of it here where we need to recognise what is important and what needs to immediate attention, or what needs, you know, action now, and that's where we have this divide of Babylon is all encompassing. It's global. It's all over the plane. It's in every court of all the world, and it's in every system just about as well.
In every corner.
Everything, yeah. I haven't got a rocket. I don't know what globe, if we live on a globe or a plane. I actually don't know. But I know that the moon looks like it was put there. It's in an unnatural orbit. It shouldn't be that size. They've explained it twice. Do you know in the 60s they detonated about 10 ton of a TNT on the moon? And do you know what it did? It rang for 30 minutes like a bell. 30 minutes. And it's like, yeah, Babylon tells you his story, as Andy said. What is it? His story. Whoever wins the war gets to tell you the tale, how it was. And it isn't always as that, as that was, put to you. It's embarrassing.
It isn't always the winner that said he's the winner either.
World War II, yeah. The papers, please. We've all got papers, haven't we? You don't carry your papers.
Yeah, there's only one winner in war, and it's those that are financing it.
I agree with you, David, on everything you just said. But I still say, by keeping your vibration high, you can't get affected by it as much as someone else who lets it affect them.
Well, yeah, you're right. I've done 150 videos, made a noise everywhere, gone onto the internet, and I get death threats and told this, that, the other, and shills and idiots. And, I have to vibrate at a higher level, and I have to have a positive attitude, because this system's trying to intimidate and scare and push me away. And you guys, and the way that we're interacting and the strength and the solidarity is partly how I'm still here. But I have thought about giving up a few times. But do you know what keeps me going? Your support, YouTube support, the Trust support, and the fact that I'd probably rather be dead than exist in a world like this. And my blood is going to be here after I'm gone, and my lineage is going to be here. Our blood and lineage in this dominion, soon it's going to be turned into something else. And we live in a time where we must do something, and we're going to be judged in another 50 years. And when it's that, it's going to be too late then, isn't it? Can you imagine?
Let's just read that phrase there regarding dominion. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. There you go. It's written in Genesis. Boom.
Birthright. Your birthright. No, it's right. No, but it is.
I know it is. Yeah, I know it is.
He's right. It's not biblical. It's the principle of it. We live in a Christian nation. That's what they govern on.
I'd just like to comment on Steve McRae's comment. Everything starts in the mind. Clear the mind, and everything else falls into place. Simple.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, but as we explained on the health and wealth, what this construct does is it overloads you with jobs and tasks and duties and appointments and fixtures and fittings, and the human psyche can only actively. This is for a chat with the tech guy Greg from the website. To be fair, he brought all this up and said that you can only handle a certain amount of stuff going off, and after you've had 4, 5, 6, some people it's 7. For me, it's about 15. You start to crumble in, and you start to, you cognitively can't handle it, and then you start to lose yourself, and you need management of it all. Your health and wealth and your vibration and your mind is all well and good, but when your missus is sick and you've got 3 kids and you're only earning 12 grand and you're falling behind with your payments and your landlord's kicking your ass and one of your kids is sick, and and all that, it's not nice. You can vibrate as much as you want, but it will have you. We need to train this out, Matt. So with all that, what I've just said, how do you vibrate in the face of adversity? How do you keep it up? How do you keep it high? Go on, boys. Go.
You have to stop giving your energy away to things that no longer serve you. You have to analyze the situation.
If you don't give it your energy at one point, though, mate, it doesn't go away. It's relentless. The system keeps going. The cogs keep turning. It's an entity. It's a soulless entity that keeps coming for you. So
we've also been indoctrinated into worrying about the future too much and living in the past. So if you drop that a little bit and only think, well, actually, I only live in the present moment, you can actually get a different perspective. I understand what you're saying. Man doesn't earn much money. He's got all the wolves at the door. He's got this. But if you just take a step back for a minute, you know, what I'm trying to say is, you know, you have to be grateful for what you've got, and you have to stop living in the future. Hasn't happened yet. Hasn't happened yet. And if you,
but in the now, you have to address it. Otherwise, the future is looking bleak.
Yeah,
you know, some people bury their head in the sand, and some people just dig a great big hole. You know, either way around, you're digging, aren't you? So if you need to address it correctly in the correct jurisdiction, in the correct capacity, with the right verbiage, and then you need to do all that with a high vibration, like you say, with your decent armour. And then when you've corrected everything like that, and then we all know who we are and what's what and who's who within this group or society, whatever you wish to call it, then your resonance of vibration can be whatever you wish it to be. Because it'll be that of a high one anyway, won't it? Because the fear and oppression shall be sorted and dealt with. You'll be dealt with it by letter.
Just like you just said, Andy. You know, if you're speaking the correct language, you put them in the right capacity, you deal with it in the right way. You've already protected your energy. You've already protected yourself from those negative feelings, from that stress and anger and anguish and all that. You know,
it took me a long time to learn to do that, though, brother. You know, and that's that's why I try and speak the way I do, and that's why I try and, you know, cognise the way things that I do and break it down to and put it across the way I do, because I always speak from the heart, but my brain's going 20 to the dozen to put it across in the way that is easy to.
Yeah, that's my job. Thank you.
For myself to understand and everybody else to understand me, you know. So I've got some sort of a connection with everybody else, and it does seem apparent somewhat that I have made quite a few connections. What? Because my bloody phone's red hot. Where'd you get a book on divine law? I don't know. Where'd you get a book on common law? I don't know. I just, you know, I try not to do wrong. I know it sounds a bit like a square bear and whatnot, you know, but if you're not a crook or a criminal, then we ain't got too much to worry about. We can always discharge debts and such likes and silly parking fines, or if you've accidentally dropped a crisp packet out your pocket and it's landed in the wrong place unbeknown, and they want, you know, all these sorts of things. We can just compel people to whom and what they are, and it will all go away quite quickly.
But self-empowerment and knowledge going
absolutely forward.
Yeah.
If you know whom you are instantly, you can repel probably 75% of authoritarians verbally. It's only the smaller minority that you'll have to compel them by way of clarification, by way of writing it down, because those that are in the know when you've got the correct verbiage. When you use words like property and trust and equity and these sorts of things, you know, I'll deal with you in equity. Oh, I beg your pardon, what? Yes, you heard me. I'll deal with you in equity.
It's not normal. We don't usually get that. Are you sure?
Absolutely. I'll see you on the private side, John.
I need to speak, Andy, Matt. When we are at school, I use this quite a lot. But when you're at school and you're all sat round and you're in the, we'll say you're 6 or 7, you know, in the primary school, and you're all sat round, and there's no one guy hasn't got, one of the friends hasn't got a toy or any sweets, whichever it is, or both. So what happens is each of the 10 or so of us, you know, to share them out with the child that doesn't have, the friend that doesn't have anything, and we give sweets and toys from each of us, and then we each have, you know, an amount. Then Big Barry comes across in the playground and starts giving it large, like, and takes all our sweets, all of the 10, 11 of us sweets, toys, scuppers them up and goes behind the bike sheds, you know. Now we sit there for a minute and we think, well, hang on a minute, we've all just sat here and shared everything out, and we've made it fair and equal, and, you know, done all that, and then Big Barry's come, took everything, and he's, you know, he's having it behind the bike shed. So at that point, 11 kids get up and they go and find Big Barry, and they all go to him, right, what are you doing? Where's our, you know, we're having it back. And Barry's like, what, all of you? And when they join up, they're nothing to Big Barry, and they know common law because they know, you know, that's it. Another example. Search YouTube for Has Thar Got Beef With Me? It's a Yorkshire video. If you've never seen this, Andy, you will like it. It's got He-Man this side and Iron Man this side, and it's like two Yorkshire guys trying to have a laugh, basically. But watch that video and think of when you was at school. What happened when someone wanted to start on your bullier? What would the bully do? He'd come up to you and start pushing you or something, and you'd be like, you start, no, you start, no, you, because we knew whoever it was that got caught for throwing the first punch, or, you know, you'd be to the headmaster's office. common law. You knew it. It doesn't come from a book, does it? It comes from here. It comes from experience, wisdom.
Natural
you
law,
learn it.
you know.
And if you're an adult now and you're not sure of common law, I don't know where you've lived. This isn't funny. This is the real question. I don't know where you've lived, but how have you not come across it?
Common law
You've
is
never
common
been wrong.
sense. Yeah, simple as that, ain't it? You know. So,
It's not facetious. That's actually how you would. You can
common
look at
law
a
is
book.
common sense.
Harm, injury, loss, and fraudulent dealings. That's the law of the land, yeah. But there's also other laws of the land that are common and that aren't laws, but are called laws by the establishment. And when they say, like, you'll know this, Andy and Matt, you'll have had documentation sent to you, and they will have said, they will use the full force of the law in order to, or they've looked at the law, Andy, to make a decision. And unfortunately, they've made a decision and they're not going to do what you want. And they've used law to do that. But, which law is it?
Well, that's then you must inquire then, and you must ask them which jurisdiction of the law they're speaking of, and then you can return your knowledge to them in a given jurisdiction of law, and then deal with them in equity. But each to their own, you know. It's each to their own.
Persona and personam.
Yes,
these Latin. The Latin is
equity acts in personam, and personam is to be there. You can be the persona. I can come in tonight dressed as Pat Butcher. The persona, lovely Jew, lovely Pat, lovely. It's a persona. Personam, you're there. So
Andy Savage. I'm more thinking Andy Savage. Not not Lily Savage, but Andy Savage.
Yeah, we know who you meant. All right, you don't have to break it down. I'll do the funnies. All right.
Yeah, I know.
Go on then. I'll let you do the comments.
Matt, it's over to you.
Over to the blue room. You need a picture behind us or something.
Oh dear.
We're not inviting the other lad. Thingy lies. I detect too much hostility. We'll invite anybody on, and we have done, and we will continue to do so. But untrained lies, I don't really. We've got a finite amount of time. He's going in time out for a bit. John Smith's back. Let's just get rid of that. I'm getting rid of some comments to make it easy for him. I'm just putting users in timeouts for you, Matt. Here we go. Ignore Smith. Ignore lies. All right, you should be good now. You're clean. Yeah, you're all clean.
John Middleton, you make me crack up, man. You're funny, man.
Oh.
John Middleton.
Oh, he's on it, mate. He makes me smile.
I've read all the old culture. I was stuck in the past. My brain feels like it's in the galaxies. I'm going to dig a hole and get a grappling hook and ride it on and hit it on the moon.
Psychedelic, John.
Respect, brother. That's funny.
The 12 equitable maxims are: equity will not suffer a wrong without a remedy. Number 2, equity follows the law. Number 3, where there is equal equity, the law shall prevail. Where the equities are equal, the first in time shall prevail. That's really important.
First in time, first in line.
Number 5, he who seeks equity must do equity. Number 6, he who comes into equity must come with clean hands. Number 7, delay defeats equities. 8, equality is equity. My dyslexia, boys, sorry. 9, equity looks into the intent rather than the form. Substance over form, we say, yeah, don't we? 10, equity looks on that as done which ought to be done. 11, equity imputes an intention to fulfill an obligation. And 12, equity acts in personam. That's man spelled backwards. Yeah, N-A-M. Yeah. Just want to read them out because you've been on about it, and we'll get questions or others that come on later on.
Is personam in the private?
Personam is there. You're there. You're attending or you're appearing. If I come to yours, that I'm there in personam.
Oh, okay.
And I've got something. I need 5 minutes now to do this, and then at the end I've got another bit. But we are on 11:15 for all those that need a time check. Matt, while you collate some comments, I'm going to
hang on.
have a go on this. Ready, boys?
Just let me check where the stars are, please, and I'll get an accurate time.
This is an alleged timepiece. I did say the other day I have proclaimed alleged timepiece. Yeah. Yes, by my alleged timepiece. You know, we're right. This is the thing with Andy. He likes to have a laugh, but I'm in a family orientation here, so we talk at ease using Anglo only. That's a given and standard. So Andy, cut your games.
Sorry.
You're going to get gigs.
Let the governor speak. Equity and common law. YouTube, suck on this. Not suck on it, but nicely suck on it. It's a lovely little milkshake for you of equity and common law. Two separate streams of law running in the same channel. This was posted by David Jeremy to admin March 27th in Sovereign Paralegals. It was brought down to the seminar that me and Andy held at the Birmingham, Bosnia House recently, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
The two streams of jurisdiction, though they run in the same channel, run side by side and do not mingle their waters. Ashburner's Principle of Equity, 2nd edition, page 18. Introduction. History tells us, in brief, that equity has its origins in the Old English courts of chancery, namely the Court of the Chancellor, due either to the inability of the King's justices to enforce judgments against powerful individuals. Some noble families were very much a law unto themselves in their earldoms, dukedoms, etc. During the medieval period, for instance, or with increasing frequency in later years, defects or undue harshness of the common law, people were driven to submit petitions to the king, who was considered to be a repository of divine justice. Why is he that? Because the monarchy are normally the division between the God and man people, isn't it? And they have a bridge. That's normally what the royal families are established for. Their position in the sociological, status, I believe. Such petitions were often passed over to the Lord Chancellor, who would dispose justice in the name of the king. So that's when we talk about permission from the Chancellor regarding court and equity. Why have you got permission in order to deal with equitable matters? Such things as. With the passage of time, such petitions were directed to the Chancellor, and his office of the Chancery begun to function as the court of law. A significant aspect of the equitable principles developed in these courts of chancery was that they were so developed by priests. Most chancellors of the medieval period were men of the cloth. This ensured that the principles of equity were fundamentally based on the concept of natural justice. To the guy that asked that question earlier, Matt, this is for his answer in my way of comment. He asked for something. I found something for him that I've written before that I kind of love, and it needs to be put out there again. So here's the chance to air it. A significant aspect of the equitable principles developed in these courts of chancery was that they were so developed chances. This ensured the principles of equity were fundamentally based on the concept of natural justice, in keeping with the lines of the Christian tradition of good and evil. And indeed, in ancient usage of the word, equity means natural justice. I can't cite that from anywhere right now. Still work in progress. It's going on the .com this. The different views taken in certain situations by the principles of common law and the principles of equity naturally led to conflict and confusion. In the reign of King James I, it was, and remember that Bible, don't you? It was first held that decisions of the courts of chancery would have overriding authority, while equity was initially free of the concept of precedent from the late 1500s to the mid 1800s. A body of precedent. A case of cases based on equitable principles began to take shape. 1500s to 1800s, boys, that's 300 years. Then they're looking at it after that 300. And they're looking at the rules and principles of equity took their final form with clear lines and with the introduction of the Judicator Acts of 1873 and 1875. Pens and papers, boys and girls. The Court of Chancery, along with the other courts such as the Queen's Bench, Common Pleas, Exchequer, Exchequer Chamber, Court of Appeal in Chancery were absorbed by the Supreme Court. I'm getting it, it's not too much longer. It is good information, I think, so we're going to get a chance to get it out. While the above is somewhat straightforward, it is this author's opinion that the reference do not mingle their waters implies that the common law that the reference do not mingle their waters implies that the common law and equity themselves were not fused but continue to function as two separate systems of law. This article will therefore aim to establish that while the common law and equity came to be administered under the same system, the fundamental principles of common law and equity continue to act independently of each other in the interests of justice. This can be shown most effectively through reference to decided cases where it will be seen that equitable principles have produced results quite different to what would be expected under principles of common law, and extending these decisions to derive certain fundamental facts. As to the position equitable principles hold within the legal system independently of the common law, well, I would say legal, equity principles, legal and also lawful. There, it's a bit of that needs amending. Independence of equity and common law through decided cases. So a landmark case in this regard was that of Central London Property Trust Limited versus High Trees House Limited, 1974. The facts of the case were as follows. During the Second World War, Steve Collins has just sent me a message. That's, wow, a surprise, but maybe is he in here? I'll have a look and see if we can find him. The facts of the case were as follows. During the Second World War, countless people had left the city of London to escape the German bombing of Britain's capital. As a result of this, many housing complexes were vacated. Not vacated, it's an American word, but they were left empty, and in certain block of flats had been leased out for a period of 99 years at £2,500 a year. To curb vacation, the landlord had offered to cut the rent by half, £1,250 a year. Once the blitz was over and the tenants returned, the landlord litigated to recover the full sum of £2,500. As per the common law, the plaintiffs would have been legally able to recover the full sum of £2,500 even for the period where the flats had been empty, since the lease that fixed the amount was under seal and hence, according to common law, could not be changed by a mere agreement, but only through a deed. So he's made a verbal expression there, and they're saying he can't do that. It can only be done by, not by agreement, but by change of the deed. However, the principles of equity took on a different view. The judge deciding the case, Lord Denning, quoted, "There has been a series of decisions over the last 50 years, which, although they are said to be cases of estoppel, they are not really as such. They are cases in which a promise was made, which was intended to create legal relations and to the knowledge of the person making the promise was going to be acted on by the person to whom it was made, and which it was in fact acted on. In such cases, the courts have said that the promise must be honoured. As I have said, they are not cases of estoppel in the strict sense. They are really promises intended to be binding, intended to be acted on, and in fact acted on. The discipline of law, Lord Denning, 1979, that's where that's referenced from and where you can find that. And that was in relation to Central London Property Trust Limited versus High Trees House Limited, 1947. We're at the end, boys. In the judgment, it was held that through equity the promise was made, was binding on the party making it. The common law did not make such an allowance. Have I read that? Yeah. While both principles of common law and equity were administered as one totality, in the above case, we see principles of equity coming into play to lead the judge to arrive at a very different decision than he would have had to make if he followed only common law principles. Hence, we see equitable principles functioning quite distinctly from those of common law in the interests of justice. As it is quoted in Lord Denning's book, The Discipline of Law, a previous case where similar equitable principles could have been applied. Salisbury's Marquis versus Gilmore, 1942. Lord Justice McKinnon felt unable to take on an equitable view due to a decision made by the House of Lords. There's more to read. I'm not going to carry on. I'm just going to go and post that into the thread, and it's probably too big to post, but I'll have a go, guys. Do you get it now? Do you understand? Not YouTube, but that was for YouTube and anybody that watches afterwards, what kind of research, and the guy that asked about where you find out about common law and how we go on about stuff, then how we learn. It's research development and, you know, stuff like that. It's very boring, to be fair. It's quite much more fun to go to the pub and go out and, you know, play on the sex box or other such things, but you have to put in and then you get out, you know, what you put in, don't you?
That's it. Application, mate. It's how you apply yourself. You put plenty in, you'll get plenty out. You put note in, you get note out. That's the trouble here. People expect too much without getting too much put in, and that's where they're getting tripped over.
I tried to put 13,859 words. I tried to apply that much, and you can only put 200 in the chat. So I will put it somewhere else. If you go in Sovereigns, you can find it. Search equity and stuff like that comes up for you to read about. You know, that's your digital university. On the .com, we will have the you know, the resource-based library. We've got all the functioning stuff there now. It just needs me to tweak it over the next 2-3 days with Greg, and I'm going to be on there every day as of Monday. Monday the what? 13th, is it on Monday? No, 14th, Monday the 14th. I'll be checking into spowspro.com every day and sorting out trustees and the management of it and agents. Matt's disappeared. Andy as well.
Come on, just noticed, mate, yeah.
That's gone. I just, yeah, I didn't hear out.
He might have had a calling. He was there a moment ago, so when you was reading, I've just making myself a little cigarette.
I will look at this, Untrained Lies. I will smash this lot. Look at that. Why don't you just make your own channel and get your own viewers? Let's put him hide user on this channel. There we go. That's an option. Let's hide him. See ya. This user's messages will be hidden. You know, got another account, but I'll get it when he comes back again.
Oh, right. I don't know how you do all that lot.
Such a violent brother. Such a violent brother.
I can't see messages on my screen, so.
I know, no, because you're on the phone. Yeah, I know, mate.
People, you get negative people, you know. Each of their own perception of the whole thing. We might be completely off the mark for them. In which case, they're more than entitled and valued to go and get their own ways in life and their own remedies and answers, you know.
I don't know if the comments are going to stay on, guys. So I make a point of reading out the ones that I want to see back on the video, because I don't know if I checked the settings for live chat. But search also Lord Coke, C-O. I don't know how you spell it. I need to check that. I'm gonna, because my dyslexia is telling me to go one way. Let me just check his spelling. Lord Coke, and also there's lots of references you can use. Edward Coke, C-O-K-E. Then yeah, Coke. It's just a Coca-Cola. Then I was like, is that right? Matt's on his laptop. All right, then his computer died. He's on his laptop. Andy?
Yep.
Hello?
All right, man, I'm just listening to you doing your thing, you know.
Oh, you're all right, yeah. A lot more. What you got, Dean Yates? A good point, David. There is a lot more to come to Chilster Deluxe. He who profits over others is a back to front from James Owen. Yes, he is. Lawyers, bankers. What does it say in the scriptures about them? What did Jebus say about them? Well, the Lord is not, God is not a respecter of what? Persons. Bankers and solicitors are what? Liars and thieves. They were kicked out. They're not to be respected given the time of day. They are parasites. They are deceiving you, and they are not delivering you into, what would you call it? Salvation, redemption, deliverance, anything you want, fixing, remedy.
They're feeding off your pay packet. Simple as that.
We call it usurping, usury. Look at usury and usurping, and yeah, that's what they do. They usurp your energy, they usurp your time, your sweat equity, and yeah.
Personage. Yeah, have a look at personage.
Unlawful police stops. Yeah, you will see them unlawful police stops. So when you stand there and you haven't got any documentation and they want to identify you, then that might be a good way to go. And then when they can't find anything and presume, you know, they can't presume who you are. So they're going to go for what? They're going to go for these. And then when they go for them, you know, they're going to have to get consent, aren't they? So other than that, it would be notices, having to notice the general. Look at who we have in the government. We have the what? Attorney General. The Attorney General needs noticing about how when you may ever be pulled into the dominion of to play a game of which you will probably respectfully decline to play a game on the court, you will let them know what capacity you were going in. You know, it's about just setting your status and capacity and letting them know who you are and having that to stand on and fall back on, and how you interact with them, and how you would, if you get forced out of the private to go into the public, you need to let them know that and have articulate you know, remedy for that as well. And orders, like we said, they can get a bill for an order. A request can be declined, can't it, brother?
Absolutely. Respectfully decline any request, can't we?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You order me to wash your car, no problem, I'll wash it for you, but it's going to cost you 25 quid.
Yes, Dad. Hey, dude, so let's go through some new names in the house because we're at 52 watching, and
really, this time of the night?
On a Saturday as well, on a Friday even.
I'll go red. People got nothing better to do, listen to our bloody babble.
Yes, Joe Joseph, has the venue been sorted for Liverpool yet? Yes, I've had an email from a telephone chat after an email. I rang up the Big E in the centre of Liverpool. I spoke to a very helpful guy, and he said that he'll get back to me. Saturday the 19th as not available for the Big E. The Black E, not the Big E, the Black E, I think. Yeah, the Black E, centre of Liverpool. So we will get a call back on Monday, I believe, where there's another room that I've said I've estimated 50 to 100. So that'd be good at 50. 100 would be excellent. Really, we should be getting 1,000 to say that a 2-year-old was murdered in a public building, and it was publicised all over the media, and you know what had happened there. If you have got offspring and you are concerned about how you would contract and how you would get your offspring property medical attention without contracting, and that's a concern to you, then we can give you advice, you know, information about that. It's not legal advice. It's part of the trust and the service we offer within the private Express Private Trust. So yeah, we'll get back to you. It could be Saturday the 19th. We're looking at Liverpool centre of. If you can help us out, Joe Joseph, let us know. You will get updates from the .com and SPO's Facebook. What if they change all the laws and replace with veiled laws, the way Weiss? What do you mean if they change all the laws and replace with veiled laws? I mean, we're all in the crap.
They've already done that.
Go on, Andy.
Yeah. We're already under the colour of law. It depends what you wish to call the law, isn't it? What is the law? What are your rights?
LORE. Yeah.
You know.
I'm not having a laugh. It's just we are in it. We are in that right now. Yeah. Dean Yates now, Nicky. Can I speak to a man called Court, please? Ah, yes, John.
That's right. Can I speak to Mr. Counsel, please? Bring him in. That's right.
If banks abide by their statute, why do they lend the money back to the fiction, knowing it's a fiction? They're supposed to know the law, not us.
Because the law is different at every level. They're only indoctrinated to believe a certain amount of things as well. Clerical inputs and whatnot like that. They don't know the real truth either. You know, they're just there to do a job, essentially. They don't know really how the money matrix works, how it's created, how the debt system is, how the perpetual debt system will never go away because there's not enough printed to ever get rid of it. So You know, it's just how it is. But a lot of people don't understand it, and a lot of people that even work in the money sector don't understand it. You know, they don't go out the way to understand it. That they live comfortably. They've got the bills paid and whatnot. They've got a Jaguar in the garden. Everything's very nice. So
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, exactly.
Ignorance is bliss, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hello, Alias69, KB. Hey, dudes. All right. The veggie loving outdoorsman, or the veggie loving outdoorsman. Now that is a screen name if I ever saw one.
Boom.
Equity rules, man. Equity rules. Yes, Alias69. It's the King's Court, and you need to be as king in that court as well. Yes, you are. The Sod, White Magician. Go on.
Yes, equity is equality. And if you're acting in equity, you have clean hands, and it shall prevail. It puts right the wrongs in common law.
Oh, hang on. We got a veggie loving outdoorsman. That's one of the guys with another name. Then okay, we got shills that are coming with multiple accounts and that. So sorry guys, I didn't see that. Let's hide user on this channel. There we go. The more you get, the more truth you're speaking. So the way to judge how well you're doing is if you get onto a website called quataloos.com. No comment, but see an American law attorney called Jay Adkis for that. Adkisson, in fact, yeah, and you'll find him, and you'll find all of our faces and things and posts on there that he's breached. We're going to deal with that, and also how many shills and trolls you get on YouTube. Steve, you can back up with that, and yeah, it's just amazing, isn't it, what happens, and even on Facebook to some extent, but that's the world we live in.
I don't even know what all these phrases mean.
I don't. I just use them. But
yeah, that's what I mean. In my mind, you've either got lovers or haters, ain't you? If they hate you, then at least you got some sort of emotion from them, and they're probably only hating you because you've made them think. And it's the making them think that they hate, and they're hating it, not you. You're just, expressing it to you. But it's a good thing. I love it. Just
we
keep
do,
spreading
don't we?
the love.
Embrace
Yeah, it's nice.
Try the Casa. We've been recommended the Casa as well, so thank you, Joe. The old miners' meeting place from the strike of the 80s. What? That's something to do with Star Wars. It's a great venue, my friend. Thank you, brother. Respect.
Boom.
Fist bumps to Joe Joseph for that. I'll look at them, and we've got Carl Sale helping out, haven't we? And we've got quite a few Liverpool coordinators going off. Joy, a lady called Joy, a few others. So we'll get on this.
So we can do whatever to try and help.
Have some scran and I think some scran and it's done okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go and do a hot toddy in a minute. I've been and got some fresh organic lemons and some organic honey in there. I'm going to give her a drop of my finest brandy that I keep for special occasions. Got dust on the bottle, I'll have to blow it off.
Have you been using that on your tooth? On here?
Yeah. But
right,
it's
brother,
not so good.
Go.
So I've been and got a bit of this anyway. Yeah. There's others available, but that works. So I'll pluck up the courage next week and go and hello, mate. Hey.
Still on here.
It's worked out. Easy. We're saying goodbye. I'm hungry and tired. Have you got anything you want to say before you got, Matt?
No, not really. Just come back on to say good night.
Good night from him.
Good night for me.
I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea that I just made.
All right, brother.
Andy's in pain. He's got a bit of tooth problem, and Dawn needs him. Look, she keeps hinting. Each cough makes me scream. Come on, let's end it. Andy, quick.
I'm going to do a hot beverage now, mate. So, and then took her up on this.
Thanks for everyone for watching, and yeah,
absolutely
been emotional
and touching, to say the least.
Traumatic for me, to be fair.
How dare you?
No, it's been beautiful. I enjoy it. It's been absolutely fantastic. 60 odd, 43 watching now. Peaked at 60, 20 to 12 on a Friday night.
Get it right, will you, lad? Get it right. Yeah,
I'm the busiest man.
I'm going to do some remedy. I'm going to tuck her up on the settee and fluff her up, mate, because I'm not having to come to bed with me keeping me up all night. But don't say out. But
Hello, you got headphones?
Oh, you didn't remind me then.
You're crazy, man.
Night,
You
guys.
said one love, peace and love and light.
Take care, brothers.
Yeah, I'm going to shut it down. I'm going as well, YouTube. So I hope the comments stay. If not, I'll check before we go live next time and make sure they stay. Dean, James, Joe, White Magician, Alias, John, Soundwave, Nikki, my fat. Oh, wow, that's a screen name and a half. The wife. It actually is my fat Annie. I won't say it all. All of you that are there, God, love you. Peace and love. Check out the .com, please, and see what you think of that. And also, the Facebook is linked on there. You've got the YouTube channel. Please think about subscribing, liking some of the videos. There's 150. One I think I've done so far in 2 years, with others as well, not just me. But apologies for the early ones. They're a bit crazy, but we're getting there.
It's quite a journey we've had, isn't it, David?
Yeah, it is a journey. It started out for children, my property, offspring, as it turns out, fruit of the loin, would you believe? But yeah, it's as I said to Dean at the beginning, we have no obligation except to each other, and we try to do as best as we can. We can't please everybody. Andy and Dave and Matthew can't solve and go around and visit all of the ones that need help, and we need to strengthen you, and we need you guys to get the knowledge on board, the cognition, the strength. Be as king. You are the creditor. John, the creditor. Smith, the debtor. The certificate proves that you are not that name. You've got the title deed. We need to wrap this up and get it rock solid now. I don't care. People get this and they profit from it and they do whatever. Do that. Profit from the information. We will not, because we're on a sacred contract. The brotherhood of man is under Anglo landmass of England. The schools are in really. Who knows about the schools? Here's a topic. The schools are in the brown stuff, but the government's covering it up. Go and find a teacher and ask a teacher what they think of the school, of the trust, of how it's being run, of all the financial and the fiscal squeezing that's going off. But yet trustees that run schools give themselves a bonus of up to 50,000 a year, but yet there's no funds for buying the balls and kits and the equipment and stuff for your property to get schooling instead of an education. It's all just we can argue about that, and then we say, well, they're not getting educated anyway, they're getting schooled. So really you want to take them out and or find somewhere for them to learn. So yeah, we've got a lot to do, Matt, and there's a lot of areas. So it is a massive team effort. It's not the David, Andy, and Matt show. It's a sovereigns, self-governing, private, souls that are just trying to make a difference, really.
If you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, it's about self-empowerment, and you've created the right platform to encompass that, and go on and. Like you say, we all need to get to the same level of understanding, and it will get there. It will get there. And everyone's at a different level. Everyone's got different, people are only just waking up to some of the stuff, which is, if you think back to when you first woke up, Dave, there's quite a lot of anger and the frustration, and there's a lot of that to go through before you settle down and you start really cognizing the information, and there's a lot of things to go through. But yeah, exciting time. So anyway, I'm going to say peace, love and light, and let you go. And you say you're going to eat. So yeah, good night, everybody. Thank you, mate.
Starving, yeah. Thank you. Cheers, Matt. Thank you, brother. As always, a pleasure. Sorry about the flack from old man. Yeah, but you get it sometimes. It's got
I can take it.
Yeah, we all can.
I'll be plotting my next move.
Just wait till he makes a verbal faux pas. It will be there.
Got to jump on it.
Yeah, we're like a rugby scrum. We'll both be there. Could you just take him down? Down. But it's good, because you think after all these years or so many years or whatever that we would be word perfect, and you're not, because the system has programmed you that well. It's that much ingrained. It's very hard to get back out of it. It really is.
Yeah.
Very hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of subconscious control, a lot of physical, cognitive, this now, you're conscious here and you're subconscious. And it turns out when you're conscious, Your subconscious is actually in play. So your subconscious is in play when you're asleep, and it's also in play when you're awake. So which is the real part of you there, your conscious or your sub? Because your sub's the one that they know is how they, you know, trick you. Tricks. The brain's very easily tricked. So when somebody makes a claim, you ask them for proof of it. You ask them whom they are, what evidence they have. If they have no evidence and they've made a claim, then there you go. It's as simple as that. And they say Mr. or Mrs. You go, beg your pardon. What? Then your phone rings and you go, go on.
You instantly know. Oh well, that's not me. That's.
There's a clue.
You want my birth?
There's a clue.
Hang on a minute. Here it is.
So your phone rings and it goes, hello, can I speak to Mr. Jeremita, please? Whoa, alarm bell should be ringing. Hello, can I speak to Mr. Middleton, Mr. Yates, Mr. Owen, Mr. Joseph, Mr. Magician? No, you can't. He's not here right now. Who's calling, please? Oh, well, no, I said, who's calling, please? What's it in relation to? Yeah. If someone knocks at the door and you're not expecting them, then you would let them know that the visitors are seen strictly by appointment only. It's not a public dwelling; it's a private dwelling with a private, inhabitant, not occupier. Occupier is a military state. The legal occupier is a military combatant term. They're doing it on purpose. So when you agree to that, they can then pigeonhole you and carry on and crapping on you and taking your children and feeding you poison because you are not what they seem. And if you can't wake up to it, then they won't tell you. But we shouldn't have to wake up to it. Bottom line is we should live in a normal, when you're getting brought up, you get told to be good when you're an adult. You get to be an adult and then you suddenly find out no one's good. What?
Yeah.
No
Well,
one's good.
I mean, even
Mental, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Go on.
Good night, mate. Come on. You got lots to do. So have I. Peace and love, brother.
Yeah, big hugs.
Take care,
Let's
mate.
end it. Let's end the transmission. Thank you, Tube, as always. God bless you. Look your wealth on the stock market. Yes, John. I've got to go, guys. Dean, expect a reply tomorrow. You've got numbers for me. Keep nudging me, ring me, stuff like that, all right? Everybody else, keep doing what you're doing. This is the camera, Dave. Hello, everyone. Thank you, everybody that was in there. I'll catch up with you all and pick up later on. Let's do this. End transmission, broadcast, whatever you call it. Thank you.